Passengers have been flowing through London's underground stations for more than 160 years, but in May of 2022, the city got another means of subterranean transportation, the Elizabeth Line. It's a new train line that's going to change the way people look at London's transportation. We know it sounds like a big claim, but listen and you'll be convinced. The Elizabeth Line is the newest addition to London's public transportation system, and we're here to show you everything that it has to offer. What is the Elizabeth Line? The project was first proposed in 1991 to ease congestion and provide additional capacity to London's existing railway network, which was struggling to cope with the increasing demand for travel. The Central London Rail Study proposed a new east-west rail crossing of London as one of 5 potential schemes, and the Elizabeth Line was born. It was originally named the Crossrail Line and was intended to connect the east and west of London by running beneath the city centre with new tunnels from across the Thames and a new stretch under central London from the West Midlands and Heathrow Airport. The project was rebranded as the Elizabeth Line in February 2007, and its construction began in 2009. The main aim of the construction was to signify the transformation of the project into a high-profile new railway for London. This new railway directly serves some of the city's most densely populated areas and busiest stations, as well as creating a link between all 3 of London's main airports. Now that it's fully open, this new railway also provides a much-needed east-west through service in central London and reduces pressure on existing services at peak times. It's expected to revolutionize travel across London and will be a key addition to the city's transport network. It's also expected to transform economies across the areas it serves, helping to make them more accessible to new visitors and workers. It's been a long journey for this project, but it's proving to be worth the wait now that the new railway is up and running. With new trains, better accessibility, and improved journey times, the Elizabeth Line is already transforming the way people travel in London. Check out this sneak peek. The Elizabeth Line is a fully automated train service operated by a computer system and does not require a driver. This has allowed designers to create new types of train carriages that are longer and narrower than the traditional tube designs. The new trains are also fully accessible with lower floors and wider doors to make them easier to board for people with disabilities and parents with pushchairs. This has been achieved by lowering the track in some London Underground stations to enable the new trains to be lowered into them. The system is 118 kilometers long and consists of 41 stations. The station design is inspired by both modern and traditional designs, with some stations having a futuristic look. The trains that run on this line are mostly made out of stainless steel and are 200 meters long. The interior of the trains has white walls with regal purple color seats and white lights. The seats have a pattern with alternating strips, a unique design created by Wallace Sewell. These trains drive 1,500 passengers every 5 minutes into central London. This means every hour, around 18,000 people travel through this new railway line. A quick reminder before we continue our discussion on this topic. If you've enjoyed the video so far, consider subscribing as we frequently upload such informative and educational videos. Let's continue. Major routes and journey times. Elizabeth Line runs from a new station at Paddington to another new station at Abbey Wood, stopping at 9 stations in between. Aside from these new stations, the line stretches to Reading and Heathrow in the west and Shenfield to the west. The journey between London and Reading should take 43 minutes, but it will probably be slower in the first few months of service as the system is bedded in. Journey times between Paddington and Heathrow are also shorter than the tube, with a journey time of 35 minutes compared to an hour by tube. The new line, which is served by more than 24 trains per hour, will have a capacity of more than 6 times the current capacity of the Heathrow Express services linking London with the international airport. The journey times from the stations at either end of the new line, Reading in Berkshire and Heathrow Airport in West London, are also expected to be quicker than the average 1 hour, 14 minutes currently taken by the Heathrow Express trains. How much do the fares cost? Fares are the same as other parts of the network, with a single journey from Reading to London costing £10.60 and one from Heathrow to London costing £3.50 on off-peak times and £5.50 at peak times. With the same fares as other railway lines traveling in the same zone, it's obvious that the Elizabeth line is definitely better for transportation because it takes you much more quickly to your destination than any other line, all at the same fare. Let's talk about the price tag of the whole project. This London's new railway line is a $25 billion project that has been financed by the government and a consortium of private investors who will be repaid through the project's revenues, including the revenue from fares. Why has it taken so long? The construction of the Elizabeth line had been plagued by delays and cost overruns many times. Construction was delayed for the first time in October 2010 due to the elections of the coalition government in the United Kingdom. In May 2012, the project resumed, but in March 2014, a construction worker died while working in the tunnels. He was killed on the spot when a big part of the roof fell on him. It was when work on the Elizabeth line was again suspended and the construction firms were charged a fine of £1 million. Work resumed some months after this tragic incident, but was again delayed due to cost pressures and additional budget in 2018. At that time, the project's budget was nearly doubled due to rising costs for building materials and labor. The project was further delayed by the COVID outbreak that struck Europe in 2020 and resulted in a global pandemic. Even though the Elizabeth line was completed in 2021, its opening was pushed to 2022 due to COVID restrictions and precautions. And then, finally, on the 24th of May of this year, this fantastic railway line was opened for public use. How has it transformed London travel? It's estimated that the Elizabeth line will be used by more than 2 million passengers annually, significantly increasing London's capacity and reducing the strain on the city's other transport systems. Its central location, close to major London landmarks, and fast transport are expected to make it a popular choice among passengers traveling across the city. The new railway is also expected to help transform the economies of the areas it serves by increasing accessibility and bringing new visitors to those areas. It's projected to add £42 billion to the UK economy and support 40,000 new jobs in the next 4 years and 300,000 new jobs in the main employment hubs. What do you think of this new Elizabeth line in London? Let us know by commenting below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like this video and subscribe to madewellfinder so that we keep making such interesting and informational videos for you. See you next time.